Okay, welcome to the video on bar chords. So in this video, I hope to cover the concept of a bar chord, how to use it, a couple of bar chords to use. So first, what is the idea of a bar chord? A bar chord is basically just any chord you play with either partially barring or fully barring your finger across the fretboard. So what barring is basically covering multiple strings and pressing down and fretting them with one finger. So like if I hold down all these three strings with just one finger, that's a partial bar. If I cover all of the strings with this finger, that's a full bar. What we're going to go over is some bar chords that will help you to be able to play basically anywhere along the neck. So bar chords, they really help if you're doing like jam sessions, things like that, and you're trying to play along with other people. Bar chords are definitely really important there. First, we need to understand two things. We need to understand a couple of chords and then how to move them around. So first we'll start with an E major chord. Just an open E major chord. Next one we'll have is an A major chord. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna play them with these fingers. So rather than playing them with the first three fingers, we'll play this chord with the last three fingers, and you'll see why in a second. Same thing with the open A chord. So now we're gonna just move this shape up a couple frets. We'll move it up 1, 2, 3. So how about 3 frets? Once we move it up 3 frets, we're gonna take this entire finger and cover the 3rd fret, all of the 3rd fret. And then if we press all that down, it's a G major chord. Now I know you've learned this G major chord, but this one has the sound of an E major chord, just moved up. And the reason for that is that's pretty much what it is. We're just taking this, moving it 3 frets up, and then the low notes, we're fretting those notes with the first finger. So the first finger essentially acts as the nut, and you're moving it up. If you've ever used a capo, it's the exact same idea. So that is our G major chord. Now the cool thing is, if you know what your notes are on the fretboard, for example, this one's B, that one's the B note. If you have a B and you have your E-shaped bar, even if you don't know where to play a B major, there's a B major right here. So basically, whatever the first note is on this E-shaped bar, that'll be what the chord is. So for example, this is an A on the 5th fret. So if we do our bar chord there, it'll be an A major. So the next thing we'll do is discuss some more shapes. We have an, say, G major, right? On the 3rd fret. What if we want to make it a minor? Well, how did we make the E major a minor? Well, we took the finger off, right? It's the exact same thing when you're doing bar chords. So if we have a G major here, we can just take this finger off and play a minor there. And the reason it works is because you're just playing basically the same chord shape, only moved up. Notice how they sound very similar, just different key. That is the basic idea behind a bar chord. So let's look at some other bar chords that we can use. We can cover the 6th string, right? We have E, we have G, we have A, we have B, we have C, we have E again. But you know, we only have so much space on the 6th string. So what if we move it to the 5th string? And that's basically take this A-shaped chord and move that up, exactly like we did with the E major chord. So if we take an A major chord, shift it up maybe 3 frets like we did, and then bar down here. So what do we have now? We have a C major bar, right? Because this note here is a C. So we have a C major. Likewise, if we put it up here, where we have an E, we can play an E major bar. And this works exactly the same as the E. It works because this is an A major chord, and we're basically just moving that shape up. See how my finger here is acting like the nut? Imagine that's a nut there. And then imagine it's moving up. It's like a capo effect. So that's how bar chords should work. And so with these together, we can pretty much play any chord, major or minor. You could probably guess, we have the C major here. If we just play the minor version, like an A minor chord, but up here, we can play C minor, a chord that we couldn't play in the open position. So if you get really good at figuring out where all the different notes are, you can start finding your chords very, very quickly. Two other chords I want to show you quickly are the minor seventh chords. Now the minor seventh chords, you may have seen them before, but they are really, really useful if you want to play anything that sounds a little more soulful, a little more R&B, that kind of thing. If we have like a D minor bar chord, so like here's the D note, and we can confirm that by plucking the D string. Same note, right? And we play like a D minor shape here. And remember, this is that same A minor shape, just moved up. If we play the A minor 7 shape, namely removing the ring finger, and we can get that really R&B kind of sound. Now, what about the lower shapes, the E shapes? Well, we can do the exact same thing. We can take the, for example, A minor chord that we learned earlier, take away this finger, and then we get the A minor 7. And that's for that really like R&B, like. And you can mess around with it. You can tie it in with your A minor pentatonic. So you can really see why learning bar chords is going to unlock everything for you. So you want to know how to do the bar chords, and what I would strongly recommend is try to memorize where all the important notes are. You don't have to memorize them all, but it definitely helps to know where some of the key ones are. I would remember F, I'd remember G, I'd remember A, I'd remember B, I'd remember C. Oh, you probably should remember B on the A string as well. D, E. Past that, you'll figure it out as you go. So yeah, definitely memorize where some of them are, just a couple of them, so that you know if someone says like A minor, oh, you say like, oh, 5th fret, we can play this, the E minor shape. So if someone's like doing a groove and they're saying like D minor, E minor, A minor, if you want to do like that, it's like, okay, D minor, my D is here on the 5th fret of the 5th string. Say they want to move up to an E minor, oh well, I can just move that up, and I have my E there, and then back down to my A. See how I'm saying like this can really, really tie in, especially with that R&B feel. So yeah, that's what the basics of bar chords. Now when it comes to bar chords, I want to talk really quickly about fretting, because when I was young, it was really hard for me to fret these bar chords. It's really, really difficult on an acoustic guitar if the action is high as well. So I have a couple of tips for you that'll make it easier. If you have small hands, The best thing you can do, I talked about this before, but the best thing you can do is put your thumb on the back of the neck, because that will grant you that much more space on your hands to reach over and grab the strings. That is absolutely essential for players with small hands. If you have large hands, wrapping the thumb around the neck can make it a lot easier to play. When it comes to actually fretting the notes, I think I've mentioned this before, but having your fingers a little bit closer to the frets rather than farther away often makes the fretting a lot cleaner. So like if I play back here, like it's not very clean, but if I play really close to the fret, it'll help. So like back here, maybe not as clean, very clean. I hope you can see that, like. So yeah, playing closer to the fret will also help you get those bar chords. One other thing I'll mention is when it comes to playing minor chords, if you're having a tough time fretting everything, because you can't get enough pressure on your hand, so there's a couple ways. One of them is actually use your body, like use your whole body, the strap, everything to get the bar chord, and not necessarily just your thumb. If you use everything at once, you actually don't have to apply very much pressure with your thumb at all. Now this is a low action guitar, so it's a lot easier to fret than like an acoustic, but I'm just going to prove a point here and play a bar chord with my thumb completely off the neck. So you can do it. There are ways to get around having to push so hard. And if you do need to push really hard on the thumb, especially on those minor chords, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll drop this finger on and just press harder. I usually do that on an acoustic guitar because the acoustic guitars are a little harder to fret. So to wrap up all our points, the idea of a bar chord is to be able to play whatever chords we want all over the neck. And we do that by taking the E family of chords, so E major, E minor 7, A minor, A major, A minor 7, and then we just bar them across the fretboard, and we can move that wherever we want to get whatever chord we want. This is also really good for ear training. To play the bar chords, if you have small hands, it might help if you have your thumb on the back of the neck and you have small hands. If you have larger hands, you can try wrapping your thumb over the neck. That might help as well. Generally play what's most comfortable for you, because if you want to get good, you're not going to want to be having those hand cramps. You're going to want to have them as little as you can. So yeah. And finally, watch your fretting and use your entire body to kind of control the chords. That's it. I hope that helped with bar chords. As a final note, if you can find like an interesting chord in the in E or A, you can really apply it to a bar chord. Like for example, here's this really interesting E major chord I have. I can actually play that as a bar chord. It's very hard to play, but I can play it. So if you have like, I don't know, some like, you can play that on a bar chord.